Real internalization would be to realize that all your exterior situations and circumstances are all about greed. And if you're really self-aware, you might figure out a way on how to end that so that the awareness can actually even begin to happen.
From our audience, we have this question: how to overcome the exterior situation or circumstances using internalization? More would have been required, but let's try and give a crack at it. Chetan, what thoughts on overcoming exterior difficulties or situations with the process of internalization?
Interesting question, Rolly. Of course, we need more details, but nevertheless, let's attempt. If there's an exterior situation or circumstances which I am trying to overcome, now, in the exterior situation or circumstances, it obviously means that there is an opportunity that I'm trying to grab, or there's something to get, right? There is a challenge out there. There's an opportunity out there, and I am calling it as a situation to overcome, means I have something to get out of it. That getting out of it could be a desire, it could be a goal, it could be an end result, essentially driven by the mechanism of my internal greed to get something that I currently don't have. Now I want to use internalization, which is self-awareness or self-reflect on it, and figure out a mechanism to acquire something that is exterior to me. This whole self-awareness, mindfulness, or this whole introspection thing, if it's still aimed at getting your greed fulfilled, is it really internalization in the first place, or is it just about telling yourself that you're being noble in your attempt to be greedy, right? And I think it's just that. How do you overcome an external situation? I think the external situation, if you're still focused on getting something from the external situation, then might as well be authentic and shameless about it and talk about how do you internalize it. There is no internalization required. You need to take certain action. You need to follow a certain plan to get a certain end result and follow it. I think the whole awareness that needs to be is to how you are manipulating your own mind, which is that I am manipulating my mind into thinking that my external cause is so noble that it requires me to go within me and cull out in all bullshit, right? It doesn't need any of that. If you go into self-awareness, and real internalization would be to realize that all your exterior situations and circumstances are all about greed. And if you're really self-aware, you might figure out a way on how to end that so that the awareness can actually even begin to happen. The moment there's an external motive, the moment there is an external motive of getting something, there is no awareness. You can't go internally with a motive to be external. I don't know if I'm making sense, really. Would you try to simplify that?
No, I fully understand what you're saying. And I think the very concept of Chetan internalization here that has been asked by our audience, internalization is all about that immersion, that self-awareness, and that is so harmonious and holistic in its own way. And the moment if you are in that space of internalization, I think to my mind, the whole world of exteriority would vanish. So if you are moving towards that internalization, then having an external context to it, these two situations are not even possible to coexist together, is what my take would be on this.
This is an interesting thing. I'm just thinking about it as you're talking. There seems to be a differentiation in people's mind of an internal reality and an external reality, right? And is there actually a difference? I am internally a person who has certain thoughts and certain feelings. I think about becoming someone, I think about achieving something, and I go out and I manifest it externally. Is there a difference between internal and external in reality? There isn't. There is a division created because it's helping you manipulate yourself. There is no difference. What is inside of me is what I manifest outside, and that's the definition of society, by the way. We think violently, we think greedily, we think of our desires. That's what we go out and manifest in the world. So what you are inside is what you are on the outside. And your question on overcoming exterior situations, there's nothing to overcome. Who are you to overcome? What you can do is become aware of the way the mind is functioning, become aware of the way the mind is visualizing external situations. And if you perceive it as to exactly what is happening, which is this problems of greed and which is the problem of getting and stuff, If you become aware of it and you end it, you'll become aware. Otherwise, there is no awareness.
So hearing, building on those thoughts that you said, Chetan, it's I think about realizing that how mind processes any kind of such concepts. Like even in this question, the whole thing of overcoming, it's like about going from a point A to a point B. Correct. So overcoming what, I mean, is there a journey which has to start from my internalization inside of me and has to take outside to attain that motive? This kind of it's a mirage that we build around ourselves for these journeys and these achieving motives, and then talking about internalization. There are dichotomies that we are trying to run about when these three things are placed together. So I feel what you said about that, analyzing the mind, that why this division itself occurs within us, that there is something internal and then there is an external reality, or there is something external to us. What is in me is what is outside of me, and so what is outside of me is exactly what is in me.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thought to stay with there.
However, to give a final answer to this, really, how to overcome the exterior situation or circumstances using internalization, I think one word or two word answer would be kind. Be kind to yourself internally, be kind externally. As long as you can do that, you will create a kind enough society. Forget about externalization and internalization. What is inside is what is outside.